and welcome to the Crafty Diamond. I am Debbie. If you are new, welcome. If you are not new, welcome back. Today is my weekly WiP Chat, and if you are not familiar with what a WiP Chat is, that is a work in progress. I am going to be working on Autumn Sun from Dreamer Designs, and I am almost finished with this one. I have the section I'm working on now, which I just started on that section, and then I have one more section. So this will be the last time that you will see this one on my WiP Chats, but I will definitely show this on another video as my post completion. Feel free to take out whatever you would like to work on, whatever that may be, or if you'd simply like to listen, that works as well. I usually will talk around an hour or so. I'm not sure how long it will be today, and go over some personal things that's been going on, and then some diamond painting things, and then just whatever else pops up. So relax and let's get started. I need to choose a color, but first I want to show you what I am using. My pen I am using from Mad Wood Turning, and I love this one. It has butterflies in the middle, and it's kind of hard to see. Doesn't want to focus very well. And then I'm also using my Muni Made large purple tray. And I am using Marshmallow Chit, and this is version 2. I have a cute little cat cover minder, and that is from Mad for Minders. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start, I think, with this one. So first of all, how is everybody doing today? I always like to ask, and I hope that you guys will put something in the comments, even an emoji to show me that you're doing okay and that you are not really listening so much, but I just want to make sure that you guys are doing okay. I know that a lot of crazy things are going on right now. There's a lot of people in my daughter's classroom that's sick, and she's not feeling the greatest, but every time that somebody gets sick, she gets it even worse. So we had to take her to the doctor, and they said it was just viral, but then if she's not better in 3 days to call back. Well, it's been 3 days, so I had to call back. She's a little better, but not that great. She doesn't do very well unless we give her steroids, and so we saw somebody different at the doctor's office, and they didn't want to do anything. If her doctor was there, I think that they would have went ahead and gave it to her, knowing, what her history is, but her assistant wouldn't do that. So anyway, other than that, everybody else is well. My oldest daughter is doing well. She's getting used to driving in snow now that she's moved to South Dakota. She said as long as it's like 5 or 6 inches, she's okay. And if the wind's not blowing just really horribly bad, then she's okay to drive. But she said other than that, she's not going to. And I don't blame her. I wouldn't either. And her boss is very nice and understanding about it. So that's definitely been a good thing, not to have to worry as much about her. Although I still worry because she's so far from home and doesn't really know anybody there, except for, her boyfriend. She's starting to meet some friends, so that's good. And other than that, my husband and I are doing fine, just, working. We have had kind of a busy week and kind of a really bad storm week. The weather has just been crazy. We had really cold blast, and then it started getting warmer, and we had really bad storms that came through Georgia on Thursday. And that was a day that I had to take my daughter to the doctor. So there we go, right when the storm was really kicking up. And we got to the doctor's office, and when we got back, it wasn't as bad, but it was really dark at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's very unusual here. So I was kind of concerned about that. We had just some high wind. It did start hailing a little bit, and that made me really nervous because I'm from Arkansas. And I know that when the weather gets the way that it was on Thursday, and the way the skies looked and the wind, and then it started hailing, I told my daughter, we have to get home. We can't stop anywhere. We've got to go home straight from the doctor's office. And if it weren't for her not feeling well, I would have just canceled the doctor's appointment and gone later. But because it was her, she didn't feel well, and I was afraid to wait. I didn't want to wait much longer. I went ahead and took her, which I'm glad that I did. But it was kind of scary. There was a lot of damage in Georgia, not in our area of town, thank goodness. But Georgia was pretty messed up, especially in one city. They did confirm that there was a tornado, and there was also a tornado ripped through a Hobby Lobby, which, if you don't know what a Hobby Lobby is, it's a craft store, and they carry a variety of things. And so a lot of people, when they heard that on the radio, of course, they were rushing out to Hobby Lobby because there were merchandise all over the parking lot. Of course, they had security there. They had police officers there. They were cleaning it up. But a lot of people went to, I guess, try to loiter and to see, what they could find. And so they had to do something about that really quick. So that was just crazy. And they were showing it on the news, how these people were trying to ransack what they could find. And everything was wet. So if you really found anything, I don't see how it would be any good because of the torrential rain that we had, plus all the wind. But a lot of people did it. I need to put some release paper over this side because I keep hitting this one section with my arm if I decide to multi-place. And I really do not want my arm on the sticky. I don't want to mess up my canvas, especially if I spent so much time on this. This is going to be really pretty. I am really enjoying it. Kind of going to be sad when it's done, but I'm also going to be happy so I can move on to something else. I want to make sure we're still in frame. We're perfect. Okay. So that's really what happened here. And then we had a couple of tree limbs that were down, but nothing major. I mean, there were people that even had, trees that went through their house. I hate this time of year, and usually it doesn't start until March. So it's pretty early to be starting already with, tornado season. And like I said, I grew up in Arkansas, and that was flat land. It was just tornado after tornado. And I was just terrified because I lived with my parents, and they had an older house, and the front door, the wind would whip through it so hard, it would pop the door open, or it'd make these awful howling noises, and you could hear this noise all through the house. And so that was, I think, more scary than it was the fact of a tornado. And we had several that were spotted throughout, my childhood and teen years, really, when I was going to high school. One time we had we were in a tornado, and all around us, the houses, their roofs were off. They had major damage all throughout our neighborhood, the next door neighbor, people behind us, and we only lost 3 shingles. And it was just the craziest thing. I remember going outside and looking, and then just breaking down because all of my friends, they had major damage. I was worried about them, but our house was completely safe. So it's just crazy how weather can do that. And so my husband, he now understands. When we first got married, or we first started seeing each other, he couldn't understand why I was so nervous about the weather. And so I told him, I went through a lot in Arkansas, and it just scares me, especially when I'm by myself. It still does. But, I've gotten better. I'm not just hysterical or anything. But I know, what to look for and different things, just because of growing up that way. And I try not to say anything because my daughter gets, she gets really nervous with storms, and she gets upset, especially with thunder. And here we were in the car, it started thundering and lightning. And so I was trying to keep her, calm and occupied, and talking to her in the car. But then I also was having to really concentrate, pay attention to what I was doing. And so that made it a little more difficult too. But we made it just fine. So she did get some cough medicine. So that definitely was a plus. But of all the days we would have to go when all the days that she was feeling bad, we had to go when the weather was really bad. And then this week, we are scheduled to have possibly 2 more days of bad weather. And they said at first Tuesday, and you will see this on Tuesday. And so I don't think we're going to have anything Tuesday because it sounds really weird, but I can tell like when the weather changes or the weather's going to change. I can usually tell 2 to 3 days in advance. And so I'm not feeling that way right now. And my husband even asked me, he's like, well, you think we're going to have, bad weather? He was trying to decide on this one job he needed to do for work. And I said, I don't think it's going to be Tuesday. So far, I think we're good, which is, it's really weird, but it works every time. I am like a walking meteorologist, I guess. And my daughter, both of them really are the same way, especially my oldest. She's more so than my youngest to do that. But so I think Tuesday we're okay. I'm not really feeling anything. I would think I'd have already started feeling something really bad if we were going to have bad weather on Thursday in our area. So I think we're all right. But we'll see. It could happen at the last minute. And I felt really bad last week. And my leg was bothering me. It hurt to walk. And so I told my husband, and he could tell, I was kind of struggling. And so then on Thursday, he's like, yep, you're right. We did have some bad weather, which, I hope that we don't. But just in case, the weather was nice. It was warm. It's turned off cold again. It started sleeting on Friday. So I just knew that we were going to have some kind of a winter mix. But we didn't have anything. And usually if we get anything in Georgia, in our area, it's usually been in January or February. And it hasn't been much. And we haven't had anything, I think it was like 2018 or 19 when we had some bad weather. So it doesn't happen very often. But when it does, it's like people in our area just freak out. You go to the grocery store, you cannot find anything for days. Milk, bread, and things that you wouldn't even think of that people would buy because they're scared they're going to be snowed in for days, I guess. But I did go to the store, and luckily I was able to find everything that we needed. We didn't need a lot, thank goodness, because it was freezing on Saturday here. The wind was howling, and I really didn't want to get out, but I went ahead and did it. Thought I'd rather get out on Saturday than Sunday. So I did that, and I still have not gotten my nails done. I am going to go one day after work on my way home. I have tried to do them myself. I have used acetone because I have gel. I've used acetone. I've soaked my hands in acetone for a long time to where my hands were just so dry. And I even use like a paper towel. I put even a baby wipe with acetone in it and put it in a small baggie, soaked my hand forever. And some of it came off, but not a lot of it. So I don't want to scrape it off. So I'm going to have it just taken off. And then I'm going to just start buying and doing my own nails. I found some that I liked that I think I'll be able to use I guess they're like the stick-on kind. And I'm going to try that, see if I like that better, because I'm getting to where I just do not like having to deal with getting my nails done. I don't think that these gels are very good for your nails. And I'm kind of concerned about going just to any salon. We go the same one. But I just don't know, how clean this place is, even though we've gone there for a long time. But, I don't know. I've gotten to where I'd rather just not. And it's gotten to where it's kind of expensive too, because not just for me, I had to do it for my daughter. So when we both go, I'm paying like $60+ every time that I go. And I don't know if I want to keep doing that. I've done it for years and years. My daughter wasn't interested in her getting her nails done, and now she is, which is fine. But when I go, I obviously take her, and then I have to pay for it, and it's just getting to be crazy expensive. And then it's hard to get off. I want my nails I want something different. I want to be able to just do it myself, or just to be able to change it and not have to go there because the acetone that I bought, maybe it's not strong enough. I don't know. But I just want this off. I want my nails to look a little healthier. And I think the best way to do that is just for me to do it at home. So I'm curious what others do on their nails. I really do. I enjoy having my nails done. I don't like them like this. They look very tacky. But I'm just curious what other people use. And I'm going to start trying some other options and seeing if that works. And let's see, what else have we done? We've been cooking most of the time. We haven't really gone out that much. We go out usually twice a week. On Wednesdays, we'll get chicken, and then we go out usually on the weekends. But we decided this weekend we were not going to pick up anything on Saturday. So my husband grilled out steak, and then that was really good. And then I made a couple of sides to go with it. My daughter does not like steak, so I ordered her a pizza that she wanted. And then we just kind of hung out, watched TV, and there wasn't that much on. We kept flipping around, watched some crazy movie that my husband found, and the ending was just absolutely bizarre. He even made a comment about it, and usually he doesn't say too much about it, but he made a comment about how crazy the movie was and how bizarre the ending was. So we just sat around and did that Saturday night, and then my daughter still wasn't feeling that great, so she didn't feel like, playing any games or anything on the weekend. And she just kind of laid around and watched TV, and she played some of her games. So it was kind of a, quiet weekend. And then my husband did build a fire, which was really nice. That's the only good thing about winter, is that he builds really nice fires. It's like the only time that I ever get warm, because I'm always cold. And so he built a very nice fire for us. And so we sat around. I had a glass of wine by the fire, and I was diamond painting a little bit, so I have gotten quite a bit done. And then we did some housework, and my husband had to work on a leak that we finally found where the leak was. And so he had to take pretty much the area that's upstairs that separates my bathroom and my daughter's bathroom, and also our laundry room. Had to pretty much take that apart and work on that. And then our master bathtub has not, it is not closed since the stopper has not worked since we bought the house. And so if we want to take a bath, I have to take one in my daughter's bathroom, which is fine. But he went ahead and he said, well, I'm tearing it apart, and might as well figure out what's wrong with this. And so he had to go and buy another part, which he did. So now I think that we're able to use my bathtub if I want to use it as a bath. I don't that often, but every once in a while I'm in the mood for a bubble bath. Not too often, but when I am, I want to go in there. I want to be alone. I want to just have a couple candles lit. I want to have the light off and just to sit there and relax with a glass of wine and my bubble bath. So now I can do that, but now we have another problem. He did find the leak. He got that fixed, but then I went to take a shower yesterday morning, and that was Sunday, and so the shower wouldn't come on. The water was pouring out, the bottom, but the shower wouldn't come on. So then I called him down from downstairs and told him, and so I had to go take a shower in my daughter's room, which, was okay, but it's like, okay, now we got another problem going. And so he looked at it, and there was a piece that goes to the shower that he says now he's got to replace that part that's at the bottom of the spigot. So now he's gone today, which is Monday for me, to try to find this part. And he said he's going to have to be really careful, because if he does some things to the line or whatever he was talking about, that he's going to have to replace the whole thing. So I really hope that that doesn't happen. It doesn't break. Our house is an older house. It's been renovated quite a bit, but there's still some things that wasn't renovated. And so they did renovate the bathroom. So I don't know why they didn't go ahead and renovate like the tub when they were at it. They did put new tile. It looks nice, but they didn't renovate like the actual plumbing. I guess that was more than what they wanted to do. So now he's having to do it. So I hope that when he gets home, he starts working on that, that he will be able to fix it. I can use my shower once again, and everything will be great, except for the leak left a really bad spot on our ceiling in our kitchen, which is below where this leak was. And we don't know if we have that color paint, but the lady that used to live here, she kept a book, and it has a list of everything that she did in the house, and I know that she painted. So I need to look on there. So if I can't find the ceiling paint, see if we can't find what that is, and see if we can't go ahead and repair it. And if not, then we're going to have to go in and probably redo the whole ceiling, which is going to mean that that room actually still has, it's not popcorn ceiling, but they did it to where it's kind of like plaster, and they used a template or a stencil, and they did it that way. We've been wanting to change it anyway, so we may just go ahead and do that, and we're not going to do it. We're going to pay somebody to do that for us, and we've had that done before at another house of ours, and I am just dreading it. We didn't know what to expect then. The company didn't really tell us what to expect. And it was, even though they did a really good job with covering everything up, it still got in all of our cabinets, it got in all of our dishes, and so it took forever to get everything cleaned up and washed up since, we did that. But it looked good, and so we will probably just have that same company come in and do it again. But it won't be until this, like spring or summer, because we have to stay outside when they're doing it. And right now, there's no way I'm going to stay outside as cold as it is. So that's kind of the update on our house. Work was crazy this past week because we started a new semester. And it's always the first couple of weeks, trying to get students acclimated into the classroom and, what needs to be done and, that kind of thing, to get them comfortable with the instructor. It takes time. So it takes 2 to 3 weeks before you really start to see to where students are relaxing and it's not as much work for the instructor. So hopefully this week won't be as bad as last week. And I do have classes now that I'm doing live online. I have a specific time. And so that was kind of a debacle for my first one. And it was definitely a learning curve. I found out really quickly what I did incorrectly. And so the next day when I had another live, I knew what I did wrong the first time. So I guess my first class was kind of it was like just to see if it was working, and it clearly was not. So my second class got the benefit from the first to find out what I needed to do correctly. So at least now I know. So going forward, it won't be as bad. But that was kind of nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure what I did wrong. The students couldn't get in to where I needed them to be. I mean, it all worked out. And it was just the first day, so it wasn't horrible. We only meet once a week, so I will make that up this week to them. And I am off today, Monday, for a Martin Luther King Day. And my husband's also off, and so is my daughter. So right now it's quiet in my house. My dogs are outside playing with the neighbor's dogs, so that was like a perfect time. My husband's gone to look for, I just hit you, so sorry. My husband has gone looking for the parts that he needs. He's been gone for a while, which is not a good sign. And my daughter is upstairs reading, and the dogs are outside. I thought this is the perfect time to slide in my video. So that is what I'm doing. Let's see. A lot of this section is going to have a lot of the reds, and then the top part will have some greens. I have been able to multi-place a lot on this, which has been super nice. I'm not multi-placing that much now, just because I can see better just doing it the way that I'm having to actually twist around here to see better just doing it single. But multi-placing has been so nice on this one. I've actually, in some places, I was able to use a 10 placer, and I've gotten pretty good with it. For the most part, they're all straight. This is a round, so it hasn't taken me as long. I could have finished this a long time ago had I just worked on this and not worked on anything else. But working on other WIPs, and then, you know, Christmas came up, the holidays, and I was working on, you know, the Christmas Advent. So this one kind of took a back seat, but now this one is front and center, and I am getting it done. And I'm also working on my other one, my Crystal Fox, which is really pretty. Still making sure I'm in focus. Yes, I'm good. Okay. So this one, once I finish this one, then I am going to start working on my Diana one again and trying to get that one finished. I need to get it finished before April, before I start on another Josephine wall. I don't want to have two going, but if I do, that's fine. I don't think it's going to take me until April 1st to get the one I'm working on done. I think I will be okay. And if not, then I'll just put it up until I get the other one finished, or we get to the end of our event, and then I'll get back to that one. But hopefully I will be able to get to it, get that one knocked out, and then my other one that is upstairs, my Crystal Fox, I am down to my last 3 sections on that one. So that'll be done soon, and then I can start working on my Alice in a White Rabbit House. And that one I kitted up. You would have seen that one yesterday, Sunday. So that one's out there on my kit up. And that didn't take very long. There wasn't any problems with the drills. There wasn't any static. It was so nice. So nice. Anything else that happened here? There was something I was going to tell you guys, and I forgot what it was. And it was something I thought, oh, they would be interested in that. And now I do not remember. I should have written it down. Now I do not remember what that something was. Maybe I'll think about it before we end our WiP Chat. We did have our first Zoom meeting for the retreat that's going to be in June. We had that Sunday night, last night for me. And so we got to see some people that are going to be there. And I saw some names that I had seen on YouTube. So that was good. There's going to be some that are also vendors that's going to be there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's the Great Lakes Retreat, and that is at the end of June. So I will be going. And definitely, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a little nervous because I really don't know anybody, but that's why I'm going. I can get to know some people. And then we do have roommates that we can choose our own roommates. So I've been talking to somebody on that. So I think we're going to room, and I'll tell you that once that's confirmed. I already have my plane ticket. And I have to fly into Detroit because there's not any flights into Toledo on the dates of the retreat. So then I have to get a ride from Detroit over to Toledo, which apparently is approximately an hour. So I'm working on that to secure a ride there. And if not, then I'll just pay for a rental for one day and then I'll take the car back, and then I can get a ride going back to the airport on that Sunday. But I'm not going to rent a car for the 4 days because I checked into that. That was going to be $900. And the car is going to sit there except for me driving to and from the airport. So I'm not doing that. But if I have to rent a car for 1 day, I'll just rent the car and then drop it off, have them drop me off at the hotel. They said they would do that, or somebody from the hotel can pick me up. So I'm not worried. I will figure it out, have plenty of time because it's not until the end of June. But it was fun talking, on Zoom, getting to see some people, learning more about, what to expect on the retreat and things to start thinking about. So that was a lot of fun. So I am looking forward to it, and then I can tell you guys how it was. So that's going to be a lot of fun. As for, I know what I was going to tell you. Now it just popped up. I was watching another content creator who was talking about, her cats and how lovable her cats were. And then I was listening to another content creator who said that her cats really were not that friendly until they got a little bit older. And so now they want all the loves and all the hugs from them. And Salem is the first cat I've ever had. Now, I've had her for a long time now. We got her in 2015, and she was a stray. Somebody dumped her off at a vet tech's house, and so that's how we got her. And so the vet thinks that she may have been maybe 2 or 3 weeks old whenever she was dumped off. So we've had her since, she was a kitten. When we first got her, she was very needy. She always wanted, me to hold her. She wanted me to, love her. And she would fall asleep right on my shoulder like a baby would. And then she would wrap her paws around my neck. And as soon as she hit 4 months, it was over. She would not do that. She wouldn't come close to us. I mean, she'd come to us, but she wouldn't want to be loved on. That just wasn't her thing anymore. And I don't know why, but it's kind of weird. And then now, all of a sudden, and she will be 8, we're guessing May. We just made up the date, May the 1st. And so this past week, she's done some really strange things. And she went to my daughter's room, jumped up on my daughter's bed while she was just stretched out for a little bit since she wasn't feeling well. And she climbed up there. She started purring and slept on my daughter's bed for 3 hours. She never sleeps with my daughter, ever. And she usually sleeps at the foot of my bed when she knows that we're asleep. She'll either sleep on my side or my husband's. And then that was kind of odd. And then 2 nights in a row, she has jumped up on my husband's chair in our den, and she got in his lap and she wanted to be petted. And so he would pet her and he would scratch her and she would start purring. And the first time she only did it for just a few seconds. And then the second time she did it, she was up there for a good 5 minutes and then she jumped down. I was diamond painting, so she couldn't get my lap, but she jumped up this morning and I was in our recliner. And she jumped up this morning on the recliner and got on the back of my head on the back of the recliner, started purring, and then started playing with my hair. So I don't know what her deal is, but she's gotten really, for her, that's really lovable. So in a way it's good, and it kind of scares me, wondering why is she so lovable all of a sudden. So I'm hoping that it's just because she is getting older. But I mean, she's only been with us. She hasn't known anybody except for the ones that, dumped her off for a short time. And then the girl that had her took care of her, took care of the other kittens until they weren't even really old enough to be given away, but she didn't have the mom cat, her mother. So she took care of them as long as she could, and then her landlord said she had to get rid of them. So she got rid of them, and that's when we got her. But it's just really strange. You'd think that she would have trusted us, but maybe she's always had trust issues. I don't know, but it's been really sweet because we've gotten to to actually play with her more. I mean, she'll play with us, she'll let us pet her when she wants to. She'll come over, you know, up against our leg, but she never jumps up on a chair with us. So that's something new that she's doing. So that's kind of interesting. So that was my cat story of the week. And as for diamond painting, I've kind of mentioned it a little bit of what I'm working on. We are finalizing the Josephine Wall DP along for April. And I do have 2 other co-hosts that I'm going to be working with. Really excited about that. And we've been going, talking and, you know, sending out messages to different vendors. And so we have some really good sponsors and some really nice prizes for you guys, the ones that are going to participate. So of course you have, you know, plenty of time. We have not gone over all the specifics yet. We are still working with each other on what we want to do for the specifics and, you know, the requirements. And so we know of a couple of requirements that we want to do. One, mainly that it has to be licensed artwork. Because we want to make sure that it is licensed. That's really important to all of us, all 3 of us. So that is one thing. And then we have a couple other things, but it's not going to be anything, you know, major. But if you want to join us, you may want to start looking for a kit if you don't already have a Josephine Wall kit. I have just gotten one from a company that I have never tried before. That came in just a little while ago today. The one with the diamond art, that one came in today. And so I'm going to be unboxing that on my channel this week. So I'm really excited to see what that looks like. And it's a big one, but I don't think there's any small Josephine Wall artworks. I don't, if there is, I would love to know, because as far as I know, all of her art is really large. But I've kind of decided the one I'm going to work on is from Diamond Painting Deutschland. I've had it for a while, but I thought, well, I'm going to work on that one. But then I see this one, and I may change my mind because it is smaller. It is poured glue, but I don't know. I'll decide. I may even put a poll up. I can do that. I will put a poll up after I unbox. I'll unbox both of them. And I'll unbox one this upcoming week, and then I'll unbox another one next week, and then I will put a poll up, and you guys can determine which one you would like to see. I think that might be pretty cool. But I want to look and see what kind of quality that it is, and their artwork is licensed. So if you're interested in that shop, then, you know, take a look. Uniquely Yours Down Under is another one that has licensed Josephine Wall artwork. And let's see, who else? Heaven and Earth Designs. You can do that as well. And you can also do cross stitch if you want to. It's not just diamond painting. So if you wanted to do cross stitch, you could do that for the event. And we're debating on a Facebook page. We're not sure if we're going to need a Facebook page or if everyone's going to want to participate in a Facebook page. So we're going back and forth with that as well. So let me know what you guys prefer. If you prefer Facebook, we'll definitely have it on Instagram. And we will definitely have on YouTube. And you don't have to have Instagram. You don't have to have Facebook. If you want to, you know, you can, but you can send it to one of us and we will be glad to post your progress. But that's just, you know, what we're thinking about right now. And we've been going back and forth on, you know, different things. And I'm really looking forward to working with Kim and with Angie. I think that's going to be really fun. It's going to be a really fun event. And I absolutely love Josephine Wall's work, so it couldn't be any better. I doubt I'll finish mine, but if I don't, then it will be in my work in progress, just like a lot of the other ones are. I have several going on right now. So other than that, I have a, once I finish this one, I will be kitting down, and then also kitting down my other one if I get it finished from Diamond Art Club. And I don't know when I'll get that finished. And then I do have a couple of small shop hauls that I wanted to share with you. And then I have a couple of really fun unboxings that I'm waiting on. I'm still waiting on all my material to come in for my cross stitch conversion because I am changing it a little bit. And that should be in soon. At least I hope that's going to be in soon. I've been waiting a while for it. And I will have another video up on that. And then as it gets closer to the event, I will have a video on how I am going to prepare my Josephine wall canvas, depending on which one it is. So we'll see once I open up this new one and see what I think. And I may go ahead and just stick with the Diamond Painting Deutschland because that one I've had for a little while. But it's 200 colors, so that's going to be fun. Although Diana is 250, so I guess that will be kind of a blessing that I have less colors. But I think the more colors on Josephine walls, I think the best because it is so detailed, they're very colorful, and you're not going to get a lot of detail if you don't have a lot of colors. That's my opinion. I just think the more colors, the more detailed that's going to be, and the brighter, and I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these, but I will worry about that once they're done, I guess. Okay, I think I'm going to call it good here. Let's see, I want to show you guys, and this is upside down, so if you're looking at it and you're thinking, what in the world is this? It is the sun, and that's why it's called Autumn Sun, but I have just this part of the top of the sun to do, and then this part is going to be some more of the sunflower. So there's sunflowers all around the sun. This is a really gorgeous painting. I absolutely love it. And then it has quite a bit of blue on the sides. There's some greenery in here. And her eyes turned out really pretty. I am calling the sun a her because it just looks like a she. And then I just have this one section over here. The section that I have left is similar to what I have over here. I've made the sections kind of large, but once I get this part completed, and then I'll just have the one section on the other side, there's quite a bit of color blocking on both of these, so it will not take me very long to get this done. So I'm really happy about that, and I'm sure you will be happy that I will have another kit on next week's WiP Chat that you'll be able to see instead of this one. So I've had this one on several WiP Chats, so now it's time to move on. I don't know if I will have Diana on a WiP Chat because it's so large and there's so many different colors. I've got to figure out how I'm going to do that for the event, and I will do whichever one I decide. I will do that one on my WiP Chat, so I might as well go ahead and start on the one I'm working on, I guess, and get that one done to start practicing on how to do something that large and that many colors in one small area. So I don't know, I may do that, or I may go back to House on the Cliff and do that one too. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciated you keeping me company while I diamond painted, and I hope that you have a wonderful week, and until next time, happy diamond painting. Bye.